Welcome to the Owatonna Today Show. I'm your host, Francy Hall, and we are your community connection. We are going to be speaking with Deb Gillard, no stranger to the show, obviously, and we're going to be talking about the Alzheimer's, what's it called, the Walk to End Alzheimer's. And first, though, we want you to know that if you have any ideas for future shows, topics, programs in the community, events going on in the community, new things that you want other people to know about, please do let us know. You can contact us by Facebook, by email, by phone. All the information will be up on your screen. And so do look for that. We're happy to hear from you. We're also happy to hear from our sponsors, and we hope that you will support them. So stick with us after a word from our sponsors.
Hi, I'm Dr. Beth Giltvet.
And I'm Dr. Nick Vincelli of Horizon Eye Care.
We want you to see what you love and love how you see. We're proud sponsors of the Owatonna Today Show.
I needed more than just another dead-end job. I wanted a career, so I expressed myself.
With the kids off to college, I decided it was time for me to go back to work and express myself.
Express got me in touch with some really great companies. Now I'm on my way to a great career.
Express Employment Professionals is in contact with thousands of companies in need of quality employees. Come in now and get the job you deserve.
Express yourself today.
Welcome back to the Owatonna Today Show, your community connection, and let's welcome Deb Gillard.
I'm sorry, I'm on too much.
No, you're not. That just means you're really active in the community, which is what this is all about, right? This show is all about the community.
It just feels kind of funny, but it is what it is,
That's
right?
what happens when you're everywhere at once. You end up being on the show.
Irons in the fire, that's what
right.
I call it. Sometimes too many, but yes, thank you. Thank you very much for having me on. I was going to be joined by one of my walk committee members, but she was unable to make it today. So, but we have a great local group that really works to put on our Walk to End Alzheimer's. We have great support from our chapter, and so what I really wanted to talk about today is a little bit about the walk, but certainly team recruitment. So we want people, if they've had a team before, to get online, sign up your team, get ready to go for this year.
And let's talk about team recruitment
Yes.
for sure in a minute, but for those people who may I don't know how this is possible, but not know who you are and what you do, could you just introduce yourself again and let us know how you got involved with the Walk to End Alzheimer's, because you've been involved for a while, so give us all that.
Yeah, it actually, I work at Brookdale, which I think saw on Monday, Brookdale, Owatonna, which is an assisted living and memory care. But my interest and my passion for Alzheimer's and other dementias comes really from both professional and personal. My father had been diagnosed with Alzheimer's some years ago. Passed away. It'll be 2 years in November.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So yeah, we miss him all the time, and it's a tough disease. I work with it on a daily basis, obviously, in our care community, and it's really, really hard to watch people go through it. It's just such a debilitating thing. It takes things away from you physically, it takes things away from you mentally, your families, the loved ones that are here. Certainly the person is dealing with their disease and all of those frustrations, but those of us that are here are kind of grieving their loss in stages, and it's very hard. So it's very hard on the person, obviously, as they meet their challenges, and it's equally as hard, I think, for those of us that love them.
Right, letting go of those pieces of them that are slowly falling away.
Yeah. So anything that they can do to further the research, find a cure. I know there's been a lot more awareness in the last few years. I started with Brookdale 3 years ago in August. But again, prior to that, I had been involved in the walk before and in supporting others that I knew that did the walk. But prior to 3 years ago, we actually only had the closest walks that people could go from Owatonna and Steele County area. There was one in Mankato, there was one in Rochester, and then people would go up to the cities. And so when I started, there was some conversation that had started, so I don't mean to make it sound like I started it because I didn't, but there had already been some conversation about, there's a lot of people from this area that go to these various walks. what would happen if we tried to start one here? And while we did that, this is our third walk coming up, and we had such a successful first year. It was amazing. People came out, they supported. So this is our third year, and we're very excited to be having it here again and to be supporting such a great organization. It is the Alzheimer's Association.
And it is a great event. I know both my husband and I were at I didn't know that was the first one. It was so well run. It was really good. Yes, I really enjoyed it.
Well, the thing about the walk is that it's not just us on those of us on the committee help to deal with things locally here, help to pin down a location, help to find, resources, maybe people to donate water. But we have this great support behind us. The Alzheimer's Association is, of course, a national association. We are a part of what's called the Minnesota North Dakota chapter. So that's kind of our little piece of the national organization. And then beyond that, then we have actually a Southern Minnesota office. So there's a Twin Cities office, and they kind of help with the walks that are in, the big walk in the metro area. Our Southern Minnesota office is going to oversee those walks in I'm trying to think where they all are, and I'm going to get it wrong. Well, it's probably on here. But in any case,
go to the website.
They're Owatonna, Mankato, Rochester, Winona, Red Wing. I'm trying to think if New Ulm is one.
Well,
in any case, there's a ribbon of them across southern Minnesota. That is what our Rochester chapter office then helps to support is specifically our walks.
And the reason that we do these walks, first of all, good things come from people doing these walks. So we need to get people involved. We need people to walk. That's probably the number one reason that you're here, right?
It is,
We do need walkers.
So we're going to tell you how to do that.
So we'll talk about that. But why are they walking? What is the money being raised for?
The money is being raised, it completely goes to support the Alzheimer's Association and everything that it does. And so it's very wide reaching. The Alzheimer's Association supports research with those dollars, which in tandem with things like the Mayo Clinic Alzheimer's Research Center, those are the bodies that are going to ultimately have the money that's being provided to find a cure for the disease or something that prevents it, slows it down, stops it, things that we can know that we do not know right now at this stage. And also there's a wealth of support. And this I would say for anyone who knows someone who has Alzheimer's or another dementia, who cares for someone, who has a new diagnosis for someone that they love, or even themselves that are in early stages. ALZ.org is the full Alzheimer's Association, and there is so much information on there. When I first went on, it was one of those things like you do on YouTube where it leads you to the next and the next and the next and the next. You can go on the Alzheimer's Association, you can find prominent doctors that have done videos and really get some of the stats and things like that. You can find caregiver support blogs on here that you and other caregivers can go on and talk about challenges that you're facing, and
solutions too.
Exactly, it's developed a whole community on there. There are videos, there are trainings, there are so many things on here. There's ways to point you in directions, how to find a support group. So a lot of the money goes toward all those things, how to maintain all of those things, how to oversee the support groups, how to provide that information, resources. Abundant on there, and it's usually the first place I send someone if they're talking about, gosh, my husband just got diagnosed with again, Alzheimer's or another dementia, and I don't know what to do. I don't quite know where to start. You're probably going to find it there. Right,
and as you said, they will also direct you to support groups, and we have a local support group. Tell us about that.
We actually have two of them, and we meet. You can come and go as you please. There's not a big obligation. We meet the first Tuesday of the month. I hope that I get this right now. That's our evening support group, and it's from 6 to 7 o'clock at the library. We meet in the small room next to the large gaming room.
Next to the gaming room, so upstairs on the third floor.
So we meet in the small conference room. Yep. And that's from 6 to 7 o'clock on that Tuesday evening, first Tuesday of the month. Third Tuesday of the month, same location, but that's our afternoon meeting, 2:30 to 3:30. And again, the people that are coming, these are specifically designed for caregivers, though we have had, interestingly enough, not necessarily hands-on caregivers. It's been really gratifying to have a couple of people join us, in addition to those that are husbands, wives, sons, daughters, those kinds of things, that are actually friends of someone with the disease, and they want to know how to help navigate that with their friend. They're seeing changes. How can I support their spouse, maybe, as they go through the changes? But they're really caring and well-meaning friends. And I've just found that so touching, I think, to have those people join us as well. So
it takes a village. I mean, really, it takes a whole community of people to help the individual who's got it, but also to really support the people who the satellite people and the people who are
Exactly.
doing the caregiving.
And they're there helping each other. So the dynamics of the support groups, whether we have 2 people or whether we have 10 people, it's all about someone may come with a specific issue since the last time we met. And they may say, I just don't even know what to do. I'm all of a sudden, and I'm going to use this for an example, all of a sudden we have this nighttime wakefulness and she's up and down every 2 hours. And chances are there's somebody there, or myself or another of the co-facilitators, that can help with what that might mean. How can you manage that? What this might be, the things you need to look out for. What are some fears for safety and all those kinds of things. And
Which you know, I've got to say that this brings us to the people who are doing the caregiving. If they've got someone who's wakeful and you're also only getting a few hours of sleep, and you're dealing with all this stress. So I'm hoping, I mean, obviously the support group can help.
The support group can help with that. A lot of the resources on the Alzheimer's Association website can help, because they have to take care of themselves. And dementia is not an easy disease. There is a book out there called The 36-Hour Day. I would recommend to anyone who's maybe just starting the journey or is well into it, that it really chronicles the life of a caregiver for someone with Alzheimer's or another dementia. And you do feel like you're living a 36-hour day. But ultimately, you need to take care of yourself too. And if taking care of yourself means getting together with others to say, I'm not alone, and what can we talk about together, that may be a first step.
We recently had a show where we were talking about caregivers and the alarming number that I think it was 40% of the cases or something, I can't remember, of the caregivers pre-deceasing the person they're caring for because they've just burnt themselves out so badly.
Yes, they have.
Well, let's talk about, we want this team. We want a team
Yes.
to get together and help fund hopefully a cure for, prevention of, treatment for, as well as all these great resources that alz.org has.
Yep.
So
So first of all,
team?
just the nitty gritty. Our walk has changed from October 4th to September 20th, which is why it's really important to be talking about team recruitment right now. We're coming up
It's a
on
few weeks earlier than usual.
It is. We needed to move it back because of a conflict. We're still at Mineral Springs Park. It is Sunday, September 20th. It being a Sunday, people might say, oh gosh, that's a little bit different, but we have a non-denominational service prior to registration and a blessing of the shoes.
Oh, wonderful.
So
You
it's
won't
going to be
miss church,
no,
people.
you
You'll be
no,
able to-
you'd still have church. And then the walk will start. Registration starts at 9. The walk starts at 10. There's a 1 mile and 3 mile component. What's more important right now is to get those teams. If you had a team last year, get it up and running again. If you want it to look and have the same name as you did last year, call the Minnesota North Dakota chapter. They'll help you do that. Or start a team. A team can be a team of 1. It can be a work team. It can be a family team. We just need teams to really get going. So if you have any questions about it, really, alz.org gets you to the main website. From there, you plug in our zip code, and you find the Owatonna Walk, and from there, it's just super easy. You're looking at it right now. It says register. You click on that. You start going, and you just please get those teams. Get those
and
teams
we're a
going.
little shy on teams right now.
We are.
right?
Well, we've got
So
7 teams and 20 walkers and a $55,000 goal. However, we have raised almost 10% of the goal, even now, even with those
we got
few
90%
teams.
of the goal,
Yes.
and we got a
So please.
significant amount of people that we still need to get to form teams or join
Yep.
a team. So please
Yep.
go to alz.org. Thank you so much, Deb.
You're welcome.
We
I think
appreciate
Leanne
it.
put my phone number on there, and I'm
Yes.
happy to help anyone get started. So
Call-
please call me
yes,
if you have
call
a question.
Deb. Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you. Stick with us. We're going to be having a conversation with Laura Elvebak, the new Steele County Administrator, after a word from our sponsors.
Hi, I'm Shane Sadler and I play Roger Debris.
And I'm Tim Van Gelder, and I play Franz Liebkin in LTO's current production of The Producers, directed by Jeffrey Jackson and sponsored by the Wenger Foundation.
Performances of The Producers will be held Thursday, Friday and Saturday, June 18th, 19th and 20th at 7:30 p.m. with a matinee on Sunday, June 21st at 2 p.m.
And again the following Thursday through Saturday, June 25, 26 and 27 at 7:30 p.m.
Tickets are available at the LTO box office by calling 451-0764 or online at littletheatreofowatonna.org.
Don't miss the LTO's production of The Producers.
When using a fire extinguisher, we suggest using the pass system. Pull the pin at the top of the extinguisher that keeps the handle from being accidentally pressed. Aim the nozzle toward the base of the fire. Squeeze the handle to discharge the extinguisher. If you release the handle, the discharge will stop. Sweep the nozzle back and forth at the base of the fire. After the fire appears to be out, watch it carefully since it may reignite. If you have the slightest doubt about whether or not to fight the fire, get out and close the door behind you. This has been a safety message from the Owatonna Fire Department.
Hi, I'm Ron Clancher with Clancher & Son Landscaping and Concrete. We support the Owatonna Today Show, and so should you.
Amy Swain Hearing Centers is a proud sponsor of the Owatonna Today Show. I'm Dr. Amy Swain, and I want everyone to hear better.
Hi, I'm Brenda with the Mortgage Office of Brenda Bednar, aligned with American Mortgage and Equity Consultants, where closings feel right from the beginning. I'm a proud supporter of the Owatonna Today Show.
I'm Deb Gillard. And I'm Shawn McNulty with Brookdale Owatonna Senior Living Solutions.
We are assisted living and Alzheimer's and dementia care communities here in Owatonna, and formerly known as Clare Bridge and Sterling House.
And we are proud sponsors of the Owatonna Today Show.
Welcome back to the Owatonna Today Show. Leanne and I are visiting out in the community. We are your community connection, and we are here with our new Steele County Public Administrator, Laura Elvebak. Hi, Laura.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for hosting us in your office.
Yes.
I love that her wall says "Be awesome," and there's a little saying over there: "Love what you do what you love."
Yep.
I hope you love what you do.
I do. Yes.
Good.
Yep.
Well, this is the first time we're meeting with you, and it may be the first time that some of the people watching our show are going to meet you. So we'd love to know a little bit about you.
Sure.
What's your background, and where are you from? Do you have family?
Sure. Yep. My background is I grew up in kind of the Mankato, North Mankato, Nicollet area. So been kind of on one end of Highway 14 and stayed there throughout my life. And
you came to the other side.
Yes. Spent, like I said, graduated from Nicollet. My college years were spent in Mankato. My initial career began with the city of Mankato in Blue Earth County, and then spent the last 4 years over in Waseca before coming over here to Steele. And my family is from the Mankato area, and my immediate family, I have a husband and then 2 little people. I have a 6-year-old daughter and an 8-year-old son.
Little people, I love that.
Yep.
Young family.
Yes. Yep.
So hopefully you have a lot of energy.
I try.
Because you got a big job here, and it sounds like you've got a big job at home.
And keep going. So yeah.
And have you always wanted to be in public administration? What was your path to get to public administration?
Sure. Well, yeah, public advocacy and civic involvement has always been a part of my past and an interest of mine. Throughout high school and stuff, it was all of the social studies classes and the civics and all that. And then when I was in college, I did major in public administration with kind of the intent of doing something within the public sector. And
did you have any idea what this kind of a job meant when you signed up for public administration?
No. I was very fortunate in that, MSU has, Minnesota State University has a very strong public administration program and had some very influential professors at the time who were able to get me connected with some in the workforce, and so getting an understanding of what public administration was, what local government management was all about. An opportunity. I interned with the city of Mankato and Blue Earth County, and so that gave me an opportunity before I was actually out into my career to get some firsthand knowledge of what it actually was all about and what was the responsibility levels and the wide breadth of areas that are all involved in local government administration.
And you said advocacy was one of the things, civic engagement.
Yes.
What are the kinds of things that, prior to coming here, you focused your advocacy on?
Involved an awful lot with voting and, trying to encourage particularly young individuals to be active participants in civic engagement. And so I actually spent time on task force with the Minnesota Secretary of State's office in trying to develop programs for high schools, in trying to get them involved in voting and participating in the process, as well as working on some election documentation and providing guidance and task force for the Secretary of State's office. And so those were all pieces in my past that I worked on to try to encourage people to have a voice and to use an educated voice.
I love that. Getting the young people engaged in their community and their civic life. That is, I really appreciate that. Is that something you're interested in here? I mean, you're obviously working with.
I mean, there are multiple examples throughout history of where one vote counted, and so it's very important that people do take the time to, whether it's vote or whether it's contact, an elected official or, the county administrator or whatever, just, to get information that they can be active, that they can be involved in, that they can make educated decisions and participate in their local government, because it has a everyday impact on their life, and so the more engaged they can be, it does help the community as a whole.
Absolutely. And so you now, as the administrator for Steele County, you will be interfacing with our public officials, including your state representatives and others. Have you met with many of those folks recently?
Yeah, well, fortunately, being that I came from Waseca County, there was some overlap in some of the representatives, and so I had some relationships established prior to coming over, and now have had an opportunity to meet with, on a fairly limited basis, the other representatives, particularly in looking at the bonding bill that was just approved with the special session. That included money for Steele County, and so there was quite a bit of discussion and assistance and feedback with our local representatives in trying to make sure that they had the information that they would have or that they would need in order to support that piece of the legislation.
Lobbying for Steele County to get that money to get some projects done.
Yes.
Well, let's talk about that. So there's a lot to do in Steele County. There's a lot going on. Before we get into exactly what that might be, what is it that excited you about coming to Steele County from Waseca?
Sure. Oh, Steele County it's growing. It's got a lot going for it. It's very progressive. I've had an opportunity with a lot of the collaborations between the two counties. Prior to me coming here, I've had an opportunity to work with the board, to work with many of the staff, like at the department head level, and so I was very familiar and comfortable with kind of the culture, the mission. I understood, there was a similar value set, and so that was very exciting, that I felt that it would be a really good match, and then having that collaboration and partnership provided me with a very good foundation to come and be effective from day one.
Get more done because you're a fit, you know people?
Yes, as well as knowing the background on a lot of the issues, because I'd been involved, or just in being neighbors, there's been communication and such, so I was able to come in and kind of hit the ground running more so than other situations.
Right, you're not coming from another world. You've been in this area.
Exactly.
So there is a lot to get done. You said, meeting with people, hitting the ground running, and we have limited time, so we don't want to but we want people to get a taste of maybe what's most prescient for you. What is it right now that you think is the most important thing that you're working on, that you want to hit the ground running and get something done with?
Right, well, I think, just looking at the local media, I think most people would recognize that the Public Works building is a high priority in getting that kind of moving forward, as well as working with the CODA and the SCCL and making sure that that's financially stable. Also, we're looking more from an internal basis on providing some more communication outlets so that we are able to communicate to the public and let them know not only what are the big projects, but as well as what services do we do? how do we impact people on a day-to-day basis? And so
that's a great idea. If we don't know what you do, how can we access what you do and say, hey, we need you to do more of this or that or the other thing? So more information coming from you from other channels, other outlets about what you do. And
yep. Communication is been identified as a priority of the board, and it's a priority of mine as well to make sure that folks, again, it gets back to that, are they educated, do they have the understanding so that they can provide good feedback to
especially
us.
Around, so that you were talking about the new building.
Yeah.
Anything you want to say just real quick about the Public Works building?
Well, obviously we're very excited that we were included in the bonding bill, and that's $4 million that will be able to participate in some of that gap. And so that's going to really help the board move forward in making a decision on which option that they want to move forward, and they're looking at doing that later this fall, later this summer, early fall, so that we can get some
so we've got more options that they can choose from. It's not just one.
Yeah, they had already identified, limited it down to 2 different options, but this will help determine how that financing could take place and what a little bit more information around what those options could look like and what the impact would be on the budget and on the taxpayer.
And for people who don't know, what does the Public Works building do?
It houses our highway department, and then we're also looking at moving engineering over so that we can have a more consistent and coherent operation.
Well, we would love to hear more about it, so we hope that we are one of those outlets that you use to come and talk to the people and let them know more about this project and the other things that you're going to be working on with us. Welcome to Steele County. Thank you so much for being here. And we thank you for being here. Please stick with us after a word from our sponsors.
Hello, my name is Katie Marshall. A year ago, my family and I became homeless. We were scared and alone. Today, with the help of Steele County Transitional Housing and generous donors like you, my family and I are safely housed. I am working, going to college, paying my rent on time. My children have a warm bed to sleep in every night. My family and I are so grateful for this second chance. Please help others in need by donating to Transitional Housing today. Everyone deserves a safe place to live.
Hi, I'm Amy Martinez.
And I'm Adam Martinez, owners of Snap Fitness in Owatonna.
Snap Fitness is a fast, convenient, and affordable fitness center, and we're proud supporters of the Owatonna Today Show.
Welcome back to the Owatonna Today Show, your community connection. We do have community updates for you. We want you to know, as you just heard from us, teams are now forming for the Walk to End Alzheimer's. They still need more teams and walkers. Go to alz.org or call Deb at 507-676-0411. In Faribault, seniors are invited to the Riverbend Nature Center for a class on making ceramics with natural clay. That sounds fun. Call them at 507-332-7151 for more information. Don't miss the 10th annual Chuck Wagon Supper for the Steele County Historical Society. That is on July 11th, 5:30 p.m. until 7:30 p.m. And that's at the Village of Yesteryear. The next day, July 12th, is their extravaganza. That's from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. There will be reenacted Old West shootouts, old-time handcrafts, musical entertainment, etc. Lots of good stuff going on. Music in Central Park has started 7 p.m. on Thursdays. There's more going on in the community, and in fact, we're going to be hearing in our next show from our own Chris Boosie about things going on in the community and the city. Stick with us for that show, and please stick with us for a word from our supporters.